1-hour skirmish war games. Fast play, diceless rules for small unit actions. From Napoleonics to sci-fi by John Lambshead. We're going to cheat a little bit today. Let's go take a look. Today we're doing a French and Indian Wars battle. Well, minus the French, because we're just doing Indians and Brits in this case. We have a leader. We got a couple of guys with axes, a couple of guys with a war club and a shield war club, and then these 6 guys all have either a musket or a bow and arrow. Now, the difference here is that the musket takes a turn to load. The bow and arrow does not take an action to load. Otherwise, all of these guys are fast, and they have the scout ability. When they are in cover, they get to draw an additional card for defense. You'll understand what that means in a minute. Important thing to realize is he is the leader. These 6 guys have distance weapons. These 5 guys do not. The guys with the shield have a classification called tough. When they are engaged in melee or shot at, they draw an additional defensive card. They are going to be opposed by these white devils who think they own the land just because they bought it fair and square. We're doing kind of a King Philip's War scenario here. Not quite Swansea, just one of those nameless fights over a small collection of farms. And the British light infantry, I don't know how appropriate this is for defending that, but it'll work. Everybody on this side of the ledger has dead shot. They'll draw 2 cards when they're shooting. Our leader only has a pistol. That's this fella here with a sword. He does have a sword, and he's a bruiser. Everybody has dead shot. They draw 2 cards when they are shooting. And then we have these 2 fellas here are mountain men. They are scouts. So when they're in cover, they draw an extra defensive card. Normally, you draw 1 card when you're shot at. If you're in cover, you draw 2. If you're in cover and a scout, you draw 3. The mountain men and all the natives have that skill. The natives, as I said, are quick, so they will be moving 4.5 inches on every turn, on every action. These guys will all be moving only 3 inches per turn. And here's a rather crowded table. This takes place somewhere in Massachusetts on the frontier between the Massachusettsians and the Native American tribes, King Philip's people. But before we get into that, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You can see the areas that are forested, they're rough going, and you can see all of our fences and bridges in our houses. We'll put that house kind of more in the center. But there's one last character that I need to introduce you to, and this is the reason there will be no comments on this video. My lovely assistant is standing at my side. Can you wave to the people, please?
Hello.
My goal as the native contingent is to grab me some slaves. There are 3 of them, 1 in front of each of the houses. I'm using I've got a woodcutter here, and I've got a good wife over there, and I've got a kind of noble guy over there. We gave the nicest house to the lady. My natives are in 3 contingents, 1 in the south, 1 in the center, 1 in the north. You can see we got a little... the only place you can cross the stream is the bridge or this ford. Otherwise, the stream is uncrossable. It costs a total of 2 inches of movement to cross any of the fences. Woods slow people by half. The swamp, also uncrossable. So we have a little area here that, it's pretty secure. Anyway, I'm going to take the first turn. Using the cards, I'll show you how that works. And then, on the next turn, after my activation, my lovely assistant is going to bring her forces on the table. And she can bring her forces on either at this road or at that road, but on any given activation, she can only use one of those roads as reinforcements come dribbling in. Because I have an assistant here keeping me honest, I'm not going to worry about showing you every single card draw. Now, the jack means I have a total of 11 action points, and I'm going to take advantage of that to move these 4 guys up. That's 7 actions. They're going to move up the 4 inches, and then the rules do not specify that your boys move slower through rough going. So I'm going to bring these guys up 4.5 inches. That's a total of 4, 7. And then I can only bring 4 of these guys up. Now I can make a second move, but it costs 3 action points. I've got 4 left. So instead of moving one of my figures twice, I'm going to go ahead and just bring these 4 guys. I'm going to leave 1 guy with a bow back here, and I'm going to bring these guys up 4.5 inches to there. While I do that, lovely assistant, why don't you go ahead and turn over your top card?
Okay, well,
and show the people what you get.
I get 5.
So you can bring 5 figures onto the table. Do you want to bring them on from this road or from that road? She has opted, she's concerned about these guys moving up so quickly, so she has brought all 5 of her figures, we'll move the tree out of the way, into that location right there. I am going to draw, I have my other jack, which gives me another 11 actions. The first action costs 1 of those 11 points. The second action costs 3. I only have 1 figure with a gun. He's going to move up to cover and take a shot. Oh, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and I can move this guy for 4 points, for a total of 4 of my 11 action points. He can move 9 inches. He's gonna run up to cover right there. This guy is gonna do the same. I have used 8 of my action points now. Now I'm gonna bring my rifleman up, or musketoon, and he's going to open fire on this figure right here. That's action number 9, so I still have 2 left. And the way combat works is I draw 2 cards. I get a 3 and a 4, and you draw 1 card and show the people. You got a 3. Now, you can tell, look, I'm using my fistful of lead. My assistant is using horse and musket. I'm using the deck with a pretty lady on it, and then you can see the little brown border. So that kind of reminds you whose card is whose. Because the shooter drew a higher card, he is going to knock this figure over. It is now in an uncertain state until the end of the turn. And the end of the turn happens when we draw a joker. I still have 2 more actions left. I'm going to move my last guy up into the woods here with my 10th action point, and I'm going to move my bonker guy. This native is armed with a war club, and he's going to move 4.5 inches just over the bridge to there. That's it for my activation. Now it is time for my lovely assistant. Show the people how many action points you get. 2! Oh my goodness. The first action that our assistant wants to take is to move this figure over here 3 inches. And you can hear we got Biscotti helping us out as well. Does not have line of sight over there, but that does mean that our woodsman has some support in the event of a melee combat. Meanwhile, we're going to bring this red coat up to the corner of the building, and he is going to take a shot at the native rifleman. Now, that native musket man is a scout, and he is in cover. All right, I got that first shooting bit wrong. It's 1 card versus 1 card normally. The red coats have dead shot. You get to draw 2 cards. I am a scout. Because I'm in cover, I get to draw 1 for my normal defense, 1 for the cover, and 1 for being a scout. So I get 3 cards. And I get an 8, 9, and a 2. What do you get? So which card, who got the better card? Whose card is the highest?
I don't know.
The king is the highest card. In other words, you knock my guy down. The blue means he needs to reload. And in fact, your guy has now fired his musket. So we're going to drop a reload marker under him until you spend an action reloading. And we'll put that tree up there. There we go. Now that is the second action. Your turn is over. Play kicks back over to the natives, and the natives have 10. Guess who's got a higher motivation this time? The natives aren't wasting any time. Since we already have the camera set up here, let's go ahead and move we got 2 guys with shields here. The first guy is going to have to move into contact with the red coat. In this case, gotta check our abilities here. Because he has a club, he gets to make 1 extra attack. Now in melee, this is where the attacker gets to draw 2 cards normally. My guy with the club is a bruiser, so he gets to draw an extra card. I get to draw 3, you only draw 1. I got a 10, and I got the king though. So the king beats the queen, and because this is melee, your guy is out of action for good. That's my first of the 10 actions. But because this native fought in combat, he is done for the turn. I have another native who's going to run around the building, and now that the guard is gone, he's going to try to defeat that Axeman. He draws 3 cards. The Axeman is not a soldier. He doesn't have a bayonet. So your card, you have to subtract 1 from the value, okay?
Okay.
My highest card is a jack. Your highest card. Ace is high. You got a king. Oh, that means the woodsman is one tough cookie. He puts the native out of action. And I am burning cards left, right, and center here. But that was only the second of my 10 activations. This guy is laying on the ground. He can't do anything, so we're going to shift back over to 8 actions left. This guy moves to the fence, costs 2 inches to move over, and he gets behind the tree. At 4.5 inches, I'm going to spend... This bridge is basically 4.5 inches across, so getting to there that was 8, 7, 6, 5, and I can move all 5 of these fine native gentlemen up to the edge of the woods here, and I think that's going to do it for my turn. Would you like to show people how many cards you have for your next activation? 9, huh? All right, now we have to ask the same question.
So I have brought my leader and 6 red coats, and I'm going to use my 2 actions left to move and shoot the guy.
Would you like to move him into cover first over here?
Yes.
And take the shot here? All right,
Yes.
Now you get to draw 2 cards, and I get to draw 2 cards.
Okay.
And we'll see who has the highest result. I have an ace and a 5, and are aces high or are aces low? Aces are always low. Boy, it's been a while since I've played this rule set. You guys should go watch Wargaming World. He's been using this rule set to great effect as well. I think you got a free kill out of that one on that last fight, but we'll give it to you. It's fine. This time around, I have the low ace, which means this shot is successful. It knocks my boy over. You have 1 more action left to do. Would you like to bring on one of your mountain men, or would you like to bring him over to help?
Yes, I would like to bring him over to help.
All right, now he can only move 3 inches, so we'll just run him, what do you think, up the road to there?
Yeah.
All right. Man, this whole side of the skirmish is just wiped out for me. I'm able to get my guys into position, but all they're getting into position to do is die. And with the 2 action points, with my first action, I'm going to try to take my first prisoner. The War Club native is going to bonk this nobleman on the head. He draws 3 cards, 2 for the attack, plus 1 because he's a bruiser, and I get a high card of, oh man, it's just not working out for me. High 8 versus a jack. Even with the -1, my club man goes down. These natives are way tougher than expected. I guess the next thing to do, now the muskets only have a range of 9 inches. I don't think I have anybody. I'm going to move him up to here and be ready to fire on the next turn, but I'm done. What is your card?
6.
So you have 6 actions that you can take.
First, I want to reload here, this guy.
I'll take that chip off so he can fire again.
Then
what?
I want to move this guy up to here and take a shot at this Indian.
This native right here. Okay, you have dead shot. You get to draw 2 cards. I am a scout. I get to draw 3. I have a high king. Can you beat a king? All right, you did not. So he needs to reload. And then you have another guy that can move up 3 inches.
Yep.
And what are you going to do with him?
I'm going to try to shoot this native.
All right. And we'll put, so he's going to need to spend 1 action to reload. And once again, I am in cover. So I'm going to draw 3 cards for defense. You draw 2 cards for attack. I get a high card of a 7, and that is a miss for you. You have used 1, 2, 3 actions. You now have 3 actions remaining.
Okay. I moved these 3 red coats up, and my turn is over.
I have a total of 10, 11, 12. I have 12 action points in which to spend, which is great because I need to get my bonkers into action. I'm going to use my first action to move him up to here. I'm going to use another 3 actions to close to melee with this guy. My guy with the axe has the special ability, he's just a scout. So I draw 2 cards, and you draw 1. My high card of a queen puts your red coat out of action. In melee, you go out of action. When you shoot, you lay down until the end of the turn. That is only the first 4 of my 12 points. I'm also going to move this. What is this guy? That's my chief. He's one of my last melee guys. This melee guy can move a total of 9 inches, which puts him into contact with our gentleman farmer. The same rules apply. I'm going to draw 2 cards. You're going to draw 1 and subtract 1 because it's a civilian. And with the Joker, I win and I capture your guy, but the turn is over. So now we have to check what is called morale. The game is over. You draw, because you have a very good leader, you draw 3 cards, and you add 5 to the highest card, and if that is more than the number of casualties you have, you get to continue playing. But you only have 2 casualties. So your highest card is a 10, plus 5 is 15. Is 15 more than 2?
Yes.
You get to keep going. I also have 2 casualties. I only get to draw 1 card because my leader's not as good as yours. I beat my 2 casualties. I have a motivation of 3. What does this mean? It means that I have to take at least 5 casualties before I could lose that roll. But we're not done yet. After you check morale, you now need to check for the status of any figures that are lying down. I have 2 figures that are lying down, and you have 1. So what we're going to do, I'm going to draw 1 card for this figure, and if it's a red card, he's really dead. If it's a black card, he stands up and can activate next turn. And it's a red Joker, so he is really out of the fight. Now I've taken my 3rd casualty. Would you like to do your casualty over here? Draw
Yes,
1 card, show the people, is it red or black?
It is red, so he is also out of the game, too.
Okay, and then I have 1 more guy lying right there. He's black. He stands up, and I think our Axeman is in a little bit of trouble. Let's just reestablish the geography. We've got a native here who has taken a captive. We've got 2 natives at the bridge and 4 in this area. We've got 2 natives threatening the Axeman, and our British have a soldier here, 1 reloaded, and everybody over here. The British still have their 2 mountain men that have not come on the board yet, so they can come on this turn. Yeah. To start the turn, we're each going to draw 1 card off the top of our deck, and whoever gets the high card, I got my king. So I get to go first, but that king's not going to get to be used anymore for, like, shooting or fighting, right? Mm-hmm. So now I get to take 1 action, and I think you know what that action has to be. I'm going to try and drag this nobleman 4.5 inches over to here. And that's the end of my turn. What's your card?
A
Joker. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
Are you kidding me?
It's the end of the turn. So we have to do the morale and motivation. I turn over 1 card, and look, I got a 10 in total. You draw 3 cards.
Okay.
We do recovery for anybody that's laying down. How many figures do you have laying down?
0.
All right. So we're done. Congratulations. You passed your morale check.
Okay.
Both decks have been shuffled, and I noticed that the Horse and Musket deck has 2 black Jokers. That means when it comes time for our recovery checks, the Redcoats have a slightly elevated chance of surviving compared to my Aloha from Hawaii, which I just dropped all over the place. My Aloha deck looks a little something like that. Thank you. I don't call her my assistant for anything. With a red Joker, it means out of the 54 cards, there's 1 extra red card for me. Here we are going to shuffle so we don't know what's going on. And it's really, man, I'm not playing a solo game here. This is really freaking me out. Initiative checks. I got a 6. What do you get? Red. Okay, now, this is an interesting question. They're both 6s. Who wins? It goes in reverse alphabetical suit order. So it goes hearts and then diamonds. You get to take the first action this turn.
Okay.
How many action points do you have?
I think...
Draw a card.
10
big actions.
So, for my first action, you see this blue guy right here? I'm going to actually reload him. And you see this guy around the corner here? I'm going to move him up 3 inches and take a shot.
At this first guy here?
Yes.
All right. Now, he is behind cover,
Yeah.
so we'll give him 3 cards. You get 2 cards. High card wins. I got the red Joker, which means I'm successful, and the turn ends again. And not only that, but your guy fired. My defense is successful. So we have to shuffle the cards again. Since no one is laying down and there's no point in checking morale, we haven't reached our casualty list yet. We're going to skip that part. We're moving on to the next turn. We are aware of it. Lesson learned, though. Yeah. What do we know to do on the turns coming up? Do all of your movement first, because the turn can't end until you have one of those chance of failure moments, right? So we want to move our guys first. I am going to draw a jack for the initiative. And you're going to draw, you got to show the people. You draw a 7, so that means the old man gets to go first with only 3 action points. I think we know what he's going to do with at least, oh man, so the first thing we got to do is get this guy. He can move 2.5 inches because he's jumping over the wall. We've got our prisoner in tow. And we'll kind of slide the camera back a little bit so you can see that. So all we're able to move him is over the fence, basically. On the next turn, we're going to get him over the bridge, and that'll be 1 victory point for the natives. But I'm not done. That's only 1 action. I have a guy here who's going to run up and perform combat. I get to draw 3 cards, you draw 1, and subtract 1. Let's see if our Axeman can survive again.
No.
With a 7 and a queen, I now have my 2nd captive. And then I'm going to use this guy to run over and attack this red coat. Once again, it's going to be a total of 3 cards for the attacker and 1 card for the defender. The attacker gets a king, defender gets a queen. No! The defender goes down and immediately out of action. Well, that's it for my turn. How many activations do you have now? You get a whopping 13 actions.
Woo! Okay. 6 up, and I'm going to reload this guy.
You got it.
Thank you.
And then you also brought your 2 mountain men into action here.
Yeah.
But we have to decide, are they going to shoot at this native? We're going to bring one of them on first, and then he's going to shoot. There's a chance you could draw a joker. So if we count our actions, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actions. Bringing him on is action number 8 of your 13. Draw 2 cards. My scout is not in cover. I only get 2 cards for this one. I got a 9 of clubs and a 9 of diamonds. You show the people the card. The diamonds is higher than clubs, so that means you have knocked this guy down. Okay?
Okay.
With the mountain man. That was action number 8. Action number 9 is to bring this mountain man on. If you want to use 3 more actions, you can run up into melee with that native.
Okay, yes.
You draw 2 cards, I draw 2 cards, and we're going to give your cards +1 because the Axeman is no slouch.
Okay.
All right? So my highest card is a 9, your highest card is a queen and a king, and saving those mountain men was smart because it means that they have rescued the Axeman from being taken prisoner.
Yep.
That was your 12th. You have 1 more action left to go. What would you... And everybody here is moved, so the only thing you have left to do for 1 action is to bring this guy up 3 inches.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
And that is the end of your action. It is now the native turn. We're going to spend 8 actions. We're going to spend 4 of them to secure our first prisoner, kind of. He's not going to be able to make it off the board. It's going to take 1 more action to do that. That's 4 of the actions. I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to capture the good wife over there in the greenhouse, so I'm still trying to get the Axeman. That being the case, I'm going to go ahead and move this bowman up 4.5 inches to here, and he's going to take a shot at this red coat. That is action number 5. I only get to draw 1 card for this. You draw 1 card for defense, and I've missed with a 10 versus a jack. I will drop a reload marker next to that guy. Then I have a native right here who is going to move 2 inches. He's going to jump in the hog pen, and he is going to open fire on the guys coming down the lane. He has a range of 9 inches. I get 1 card, and you get 1 card. Black Joker, success. That knocks down one of your guys. We have to check morale. You have a minimum score of 6 with only 4 dead people. I have, if I draw an ace, the game is over. Wait, do I have to meet it or do I have to beat it? Because if I have to beat it, I'm okay. Because I don't get to add anything. My total...
Is it a high ace?
I have a total score of 4. Aces are always 1.
Okay.
I have a total score of 4, and I have 4 casualties. The question is, do I need, with my motivation plus the card, to meet the number 4 or beat the number 4?
Well, let's actually check the rule book.
Oh, play the game according to the rules as they're written out of the mouths of babes. The total must beat the number of casualties or the player loses. His army withdraws from the field of battle. The Redcoats have successfully fought off the native incursion into this little sleepy village in Massachusetts. Do not be afraid to break out 1 Hour Skirmish War Games with your 9-year-old. It's a great starter set. Yeah, you might need to help out a little bit, a little bit of strategy, a little bit walking through the rules and, picking out your order. But what did you think, kid? Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
Well, thank you so much. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for coming along for the ride, guys. It's fun to play a little bit of a historical scenario. And until next time,
I'm praying for you.